Hello! How's it going, everybody? I think I'm live. Let's give it a couple of seconds for the stream to actually kick in, and hopefully you can all hear me. I'm just watching it to see if it ticks over. I haven't streamed for about 11 months because I had some internet issues when I first moved into my new flat. So this is the first time I'm actually in. It looks like it's working. Let's check the audio. Sounds like it's all right. Can someone give me a thumbs up if it's loud enough and everything? It's a bit difficult to tell. Hey Jamie, oi, what's all this then? I'm giving it another go. I was just saying the last time I did this was when I had the internet issues, and so it kept cutting out. But I got in touch with my internet provider, and I think it all is sorted. So hopefully this should be pretty seamless. But let's see. So this stream obviously is going to be for the KINETIC Rush pwnisher 3D art challenge. So I guess let's transition very seamlessly to my screen. Bosh. And let's give it a go. So I started quite late on this because, as you will know if you watch any of my videos, I've just released that Spider-Man video that consumed my life for about 2 weeks. So I only started on this yesterday. I pretty much just downloaded the project files, dropped in an animation, and then done a little bit of animation this morning to extend it. So as you can probably tell, I'm doing a kind of, what's it called, Toy Story render. Let's just turn the music up a little bit. Hopefully that's audible. God, it's difficult doing so many things at once. Oh, hey everyone, how's it going? For me, audio is okay. Lovely, thank you very much. Who have we got in the chat here? So we've got Julian Gauze, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Rody Andreas, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Jamie, Video Pro, DG Ouija, and then some characters from a language that I cannot read, and Sahan B, and another load of characters from a language that I can't read. Smash that. Welcome everybody. So I haven't got very far with this, as I was saying. All I've done is I downloaded a model of Buzz Lightyear and I redid all the textures, which is I spent a bit of time on last night. Probably still needs a little bit of work, but if we go into material mode or in the shader editor, all of the shaders. So I've basically done all the plastic. So we've got shaders for sort of the purple and the white and the green and everything of the body. I've done some unwraps just to get the decals on there. The face has obviously got its own material. And then in all of the shaders, there's like a little bit of sort of fingerprints and stuff just to make the plastic a little bit less perfect. Needs probably a bit of finessing, but it's a good start. And then what I've really done this morning, just before the stream I started preparing this, was actually doing a custom animation. So the rig that comes with the project files is actually, maybe I'll bring it back in so I can see it, or did I hide it? Yeah, I think I've already deleted it. Or is it this one? Base character? Nope. That's the original thing. Let me bring it in. Import FBX and then assets 3D models. Nope. Template files. There we go. Animations, and then I used Dive, but I have done quite a bit of stuff to it. So why is it not playing? Oh yeah, it needs to be here. So the original files is just like this running and dive, and then it carries on. So I took that, but I offset it. So I slid all the keyframes backwards, so the dive starts pretty much straight away. And then I've also gone empty, the camera and the character are parented to. And then once the gliding starts happening, the camera actually moves down. So the idea is this is going to be a bed, this is going to be the floor, and it's going to be like a sort of macro scale Toy Story scene in a kid's room. And we'll probably have a load of like toys and stuff scattered on the floor. And I think it'll be really fun. So the animation I did this morning, I basically took, well actually I animated all of this completely from scratch, but I used up until about here, I used the FBX animation that came with a template as a base. So I kind of animated over the top of it, almost like tracing. Because the Buzz Lightyear scale is a bit different, it didn't retarget very well. So I started off trying to actually just parent the Buzz model to the FBX animation, but there was some weird stuff going on with the hands and things, so I ended up using the Rigify add-on and just generating an IK rig from that because it's much easier to use anyway. And then once it gets to this point, all of this is sort of custom animation, so he kind of glides down, then comes into land, does a bit of a jog, and then there's some nice animation details. So I've got some shape keys on the wings, so they pop out, and then the helmet kind of pops up as well. So that looks like this in render mode, and then obviously we need some stuff behind it to make it a bit more interesting. So don't really have a super in-depth plan for the stream. I'll probably start modeling a bit of the environment and blocking out some lighting and stuff, because I think that's what's going to really bring it together. I don't have a huge amount of time to do this. I'm quite busy for the next couple of weeks, so this will probably be like a 2-day thing. I'll probably be done by this time tomorrow. But I would really like to capture that kind of like really nice stylistic Pixar lighting in the scene if I can. I watched the new Toy Story film Lightyear that's about sort of Buzz's origin a few days ago as preparation for this. So there's some really nice shots in that. So I've made like a pure ref board with some of those as reference for kind of matching lighting and making it look super Pixar-y. But yeah, that's the plan. You should be in top 5 or else I will be upset. That's very generous. I don't think I'm going to be able to spend enough time on this to get anywhere near the top 5. Probably not even the top 100, but we'll see. But I will do my best, and I think it'll be nice. So maybe to start off with, I will just model a bit more of the environment just to give it a rough idea. So I was thinking of having like a chest of drawers here with like a lamp on it and stuff. I kind of want to get some practical lights into the scene, and also probably a window here. Maybe if we start with that, and I put like a cube in here. I don't know, how big is a window? How big is a single window? 60 to 70 meters wide, 120 high. Okay. My scene is about 1.5 times real world scale. Buzz is about, I don't know, 30 centimeters, I think Google said. But the scale of the bed and stuff wasn't quite working correctly, so I scaled the environment up to be about 1.5 times real world scale. So everything is not entirely accurate, but it's not a million miles off. So height, width was 60 or 70. Probably have to be a bit more than that. Let's go 90, and then 120. So yeah, probably about 160. That looks about right, actually. Where do we want the window to go? Probably behind. And then I was thinking of having some like god rays coming down and lighting up the floor, which would be quite nice. Maybe the window's about here. And then can I do like a Boolean thing? Oh, I haven't got Bull Tool installed because I'm on Blender 4.2. I don't think it works in this. Damn it! Might have to do this the old-fashioned way. Actually cut it out. That'll do. And then we have a window. Sounds great. Thank you very much. Apart from Blender, which 3D software do you know? Your skills. Oh, the message just got deleted. I don't really know any other 3D softwares. I've used Maya a tiny bit, and when I first started, I used Cinema 4D kind of, but only like the one that was in After Effects, and I literally just did like some ident animations and things. Blender's the only 3D software that I've ever sort of properly bothered to learn. I tried learning Houdini, or the basics of Houdini, for about 2 weeks a few years ago, and then I got busy at work and that went out the window. So yeah, it's pretty much all Blender, but Blender does everything that I need, apart from really cool simulations and stuff, which I don't have to do very often anyway. Blender is all I need for my stuff outside of work, and even at work. Yo, what do you think of Unreal Engine 5? For a newbie, it seems easy to create environments with mega scans and Lumen all around cinematics. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it will always, well, not always, but certainly edging its way towards proper photorealism. But I think Unreal still has that kind of video gamey look, obviously, because it is essentially a video game engine. But it's fantastic for like cities and stuff. I think, you know, the scale that you can do with the like nano, whatever it's called, nanite, where it sort of does the levels of detail and things is absolutely mind-blowing, and you would never be able to do that in Blender or Maya or anything. So it definitely has its place, and some jobs we do at work are Unreal jobs, and they're quite interesting to work on. I think one of the biggest setbacks at the moment seems to be that you have to render at like 16K resolution because it doesn't do anti-aliasing and then kind of scale it down. I think that's right. I might be talking out my arse, but I think that's the correct. And it also doesn't do as many like AOVs and stuff to use for compositing as a proper 3D rendering engine. So it's a little bit limited. but it's still very powerful. And for some jobs, it's perfect, like you say, for making massive environments and stuff. And the Megascans library is incredible. I really wish Blender had that. I know you can sort of pay for it, but I know that Unreal has it for free, which is amazing. Maya, okay, nice. But you can in Houdini. Yes, yeah, you can. Your skills are good. Why aren't you working for industry like Marvel or Sony Pictures? I get asked that so much on videos. I've stopped replying to all of the comments about it. I do work in the industry. I work as a visual effects artist. I've worked at a couple of big studios in London. I currently still work at one of them. Haven't been fired yet. What you see on my YouTube channel is just my personal stuff, but outside of YouTube, I do work full time. I'm a 2D lead, or like a compositing lead at a VFX studio called Coffee and TV, and I was at the Mill for 5 years before that, which is a very big VFX studio, one of the best, in fact. So yeah, one of the main comments that I got on the last like 3 videos that I've posted is, where did you learn to do all of this stuff? And the answer is, I work as a visual effects artist. That's the top secret information behind it. What was I doing? Oh yeah, the window. So I think if I have like a sunlight out here, and we can get some sort of nice volumetric rays coming down. So maybe do something like this. This will probably be quite rough now, but is that in the middle? Doesn't look it. It's completely off center. Let's just use that as a guide. That'll do. Let's get rid of this. It still looks off center. Is it just because the 3D cursor is in the wrong place? I'm pretty sure that's still not quite bang on. There we go. We'll say that's correct for now. Lighting wise, haven't really given that much thought yet. But let's just give it like a sort of ambient. I think it's I got like a HDRI of a room just for now set up in there that looks like this, but haven't really given it a huge amount of thought yet. And in fact, maybe I rotate it so that those windows are side on. Is that better? Possibly. It will do for now. I think I probably won't use an HDRI in the end. I think I'll just go fully built-in lights. Ooh, lots of questions. Your main job is compositing VFX in Nuke. Yeah, exactly. Love your videos about Blender and Nuke, so inspiring. Thank you very much, that's really kind. My favourite VFX studio, T and Film. Yeah, that's our competitor. What do you think about all the no CGI discourse in movies nowadays? It's just a media thing. I don't think many people actually believe. Well, I don't know. Obviously, some people believe it, but a lot of people are more educated, or educated enough to realise that that's not true. Because you can't look at, films like Oppenheimer and say that there is no CGI in it, because so much of what they did is like layering and compositing and stuff. It's not in camera. It's just not like massive Houdini simulations and stuff. But yeah, I mean, some people fall for it. A lot of people don't understand how VFX works and just see that in a headline or whatever and go, "Oh, cool. There's no CGI in that film. What a brilliant achievement to get that all in camera," which obviously isn't true. And it's a bit sort of discrediting to the people that worked on it, but it is what it is. I think it's sort of dying out already, because there's a lot of backlash for people that are claiming that their films have no CGI when there's a team of 2,000 VFX artists in the credits. Whoops, you answered right now. Bull Tool is working in 4.2. Is it? Do you just have to install it? Because I just searched for it, but it's not in there. It used to be. Or am I doing something wrong? No, it's definitely add-ons. Let me know. It might be like an install from Disk Jobby. Let's get that sunlight in the back. So I'm thinking probably sort of quite high in the sky, maybe something like this, and then maybe a little bit of an angle on it, like that. In fact, let's do it this way around. probably don't want the HDRI to be that strong either. It's kind of cool. And then let's make it a bit warmer and make it quite strong. Ah, I might need a roof. Didn't consider that at the time. Let's just do this. There we go. So it's now mega dark, but we can see what's going on. So maybe like that, and I think a bit lower maybe in the sky, like that. Yeah, kind of works. And then let's do volume raise. Volume. And we'll just fill the room. Shader editor. Where's my volume raise? It's not looking promising at the moment. Is it strong enough? Maybe if I do like 20. Ah, we're seeing something. Okay, here we go. 50. 200. That's kind of what I want. But this is going to be a separate render layer anyway. I don't intend to have that in the same shot, so let's move this for now. This is going to be the beauty, and I will turn off volume raise, and then copy volume. Probably don't need buzz in this, just need volume raise. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Cool. Maybe if I set this to bounds as well, so it doesn't fill the whole thing. Wire? Is that still going to show up? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go back to this. Call this. Let's just call it beauty. Oh my god! I've missed a lot of messages. Sorry. It's in the add-ons, not get extensions. Oh, is it? Okay. I haven't actually used the different... I was in add-ons, wasn't I? Yeah. Or is it, do you mean it's in get extensions? Build tools? Not looking good. Man, you do nice work, and I was wondering why isn't he working in the industry, but you're... Yeah, I am. But I mean, I think I can see why people make that mistake because, well, not mistake, but misunderstanding, because most people that work in VFX don't have time to make YouTube videos. I just don't sleep very much, so that's the solution. I love it when movies say we've done all practical and then a month later all the VFX houses drop their breakdowns that completely disproves them. Yeah, that happens quite a lot. And I mean, even like period drama pieces and stuff these days have loads of VFX just from set extensions and things. Apart from maybe like soap operas and stuff, it's pretty difficult to have stuff with no VFX in, just because the scale that people want to work at these days is so enormous that you can't get it all in camera. Do you use a tablet? Yeah, that's what I'm using right now. How do you properly set it up? You have 2 buttons. What do you do? I have a tablet too, but I can't understand what to do with Blender, or maybe how to set it up in Nuke. So I have the back button. So where's the camera? There we go. I have this button set to right click and this button set to middle click. And so in Nuke and Blender, you sort of hold down this one and use that to navigate the viewport like this, or rotating, whatever. And then right click opens up, it's like a menus and stuff like it would a normal right click. And then in Nuke, you can pretty much just navigate with the pen. In Blender, you have to sort of use shift and control and stuff to zoom in, but it's all just muscle memory. I mean, I'm so used to doing it with a Wacom now. I'm much faster using a Wacom than a mouse, especially in Nuke. So yeah, I much prefer using a tablet, and it's also better for your wrist, which is nice. Please post more works, it inspires us and we will get to know how perfect the work should be. Your works are so nice. Love from India. Thank you very much, that's very sweet. Try EV next now. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. Apparently it's really good, with proper sort of ray tracing and stuff from what I read. To be honest, I don't really keep up with the sort of cutting edge EV stuff because it's not super useful for VFX, but I'm sure it's getting there, and it probably will be. As the years go by, it seems to be getting closer and closer to the cycles, which is really cool. But for me at the moment, cycles, like I have a 3090 in my PC, so stuff renders pretty quickly, so I don't really need that real-time element. Like for the Spider-Man film, I was rendering stuff at 2.5K at 500 to 1,000 samples, and it was taking 20 seconds a frame, so it's really quick, even on like a massive environment with loads of geo. So this will probably render super quickly because it's not as big of a scale of the scene. So yeah, I don't really, the what do you call it, like the bottleneck of my workflow isn't render times anyway, so I don't really need to use real-time engines and stuff. W. Thank you. I presume that's talking about the scene. But yes, nowadays many YouTube videos are using CGI, not to mention movies. Yeah, I mean, it's all YouTube VFX videos have always been a thing. That was some of the early stuff like Zach King and, you know, Freddie W and Corridor and stuff. They were the OGs doing VFX on YouTube and taking the kind of Hollywood techniques to a smaller scale. I'm not going to get any work done if I just keep reading all the comments. Let's try and breeze through all of these. Looks good so far. Thank you very much. Should I just leave it playing so that there's something to look at in the background while I read the comments? Hi. Hello. Hey Alfie, I was wondering what your experience is working in VFX studios, like the hours and workload really bad, as people say, or do you enjoy it? I really enjoy it. It depends on the company, and also commercials and film is a bit different. I work in commercials. I've done a few films, but I prefer working commercials because the workload is a bit better. Before the pandemic, it was a lot worse, and definitely when I was a junior, because I was really keen to just work really hard and sort of work my way up. I did a lot of hours. I mean, some of the weeks were sort of 90 hours plus. I did jobs where I was working in the office till like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then would get a taxi home, and then be back in the office for 9 a.m. the next morning and carry on. We did that for weeks. But I will say that it was all jobs that I really enjoyed, and I was happy to do that. It wasn't sort of someone standing over me cracking the whip. I loved the people I work with. I only have fond memories of that. Obviously, in the moment when you're working at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, it's not always the best. And I did a couple of jobs. I mean, maybe I won't tell the story now, but because it's quite long, but maybe I'll talk about it in the future. But I did a job for the Winter Olympics in 2022, and the deadlines and stuff for that were a bit crazy, and that was probably my worst experience working in VFX. It was quite tough. I was working at sort of 5, 6 a.m. and then everything broke and no one was awake and I had to fix it on my own. But those things happen every now and again, but generally, especially since the pandemic, everyone's work-life balance seems to have improved, and I barely do any overtime now, and when I do, I get the time back as holiday. I'm very happy. Like, I have enough time to make YouTube videos and music and go running and swimming and do whatever I want to do and see friends and family. I'm really happy. Like, I love working in the VFX industry. There are companies that are a bit worse and have a bad rep, but most places that I know are pretty good these days, and it's improving a lot recently as well. Do you have multiple graphics cards in your computer? No, just the one. I've got an RTX 3090. I thought about getting 2 for a while, but none of the stuff I do really needs it, so it'd be a bit overkill, I think. But if it comes to it one day, I might get another one. What is this project for? This is the pwnisher 3D art competition. So it's like a render challenge where you get given a template with a camera and some animation, and then you sort of make the environment and put the character in and stuff and make it cool. So I'm doing that. I'm doing like a Toy Story scene at the moment, which is why Buzz Lightyear is in the shot. 20 seconds of frame sounds like heaven. Crying in water simulations. Yeah, I mean, some of them went up a bit. I think the ones of the buildings where it's full screen was sometimes about a minute, but it was still really reasonable. God bless the 3090. Also, you can't render out lots of AOVs and EV-like positions or normals. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't really use it, like I was saying earlier. Everyone's agreeing with Jamie about the water simulations. 20 seconds per frame would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I can't even talk. I try to optimize my scenes quite well as well. So, for example, in the Spider-Man breakdown, I showed where I rendered 2 different sections of the buildings so I wasn't crashing my PC because I was running out of VRAM. So there is a lot of like being a good VFX artist isn't just having a ridiculous supercomputer and just throwing stuff at it, because even like the machines at work that cost over $20,000, you still can't just do anything on them. You know, if you hit the wall of what the system can do, they just crash or they take forever. So a lot of being a good artist is like knowing where you can optimize stuff and cut corners and make sure you're not wasting any of your sort of performance and stuff as well. And I've worked with artists that are really talented but are terrible at optimizing their script. So they'll use, like for example in Nuke, use like loads and loads of PG bokeh nodes when they could have just done a blur, and picking up their scripts is always a bit painful, and they takes them forever, and they always miss the deadlines and stuff because they're still rendering. So being an optimized artist is almost just as important as being a good like artist and having a good eye. Work-life balance is a joke here. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, different countries can fluctuate a bit. I think America's pretty bad as well, but yeah, it depends on the company, depends on where you are in the world, and it also just depends on how senior you are and how much you can eventually just kind of turn around and say, I don't want to do that. Like when I was a junior, I never sort of questioned it, and I just did what I was told. Whereas now, if someone said to me, we need you to work till midnight, I'd probably just refuse, because I'm senior enough that I can actually sort of have a say in that and, you know, control and manage my own time. So there's an element of that as well. It's just like taking responsibility for making sure that you're not overworked. But I appreciate that's not always the easiest thing to do. If a project needs to deliver, it needs to deliver. Can you increase your microphone volume a bit? I can try. I need to go to my interface, which is under the table. One sec. That might be a bit better. I have it set a little bit lower so it doesn't clip when I'm recording. But yeah, when you live stream, when I record, I normally put like compressor and stuff on it in editing to bring the level up. Whereas when I stream, it's quite quiet. So hopefully that's a bit louder. I'm optimized. I use 1 million polys for background elements each. Exactly. That's the way to work. Right. Let's actually get some stuff done. I think maybe sort of blocking out where some stuff should go would be cool. So I think I'll put like a chest of drawers here. And I'll just do it with sort of quick objects for now. And I think it'd be really nice to have some practical lights, like a lamp and things on here, just to give it that sort of Pixar look where you have loads of nice detail. And I'll go quite shallow depth of field on this, and maybe even sort of anamorphic bokeh, just to make it look super cool. So a lot of the stuff in the background will be fairly soft, so it'd be nice to have some sort of stuff that sort of glints and makes a bit of texture. Let's go like... Ooh! What have I done? I've broken it. There we go. And then... Oh, why didn't that work? I'm going to have to do them individually. Inset 0.1. Nope. Inset 0.1. Nope. Inset 0.5. Nope. Inset 2. Okay. Very small increments. There we go. That's a chest of drawers. I don't know whether to bother with like downloading assets or just modeling stuff. I'll probably do a bit of both. Also, I'm doing a brand deal for this video where I've got another one of those 3D scanners that company called RevoScan sent me a while ago. So I might 3D scan some sort of books and things to scatter about on the floor, which might be quite fun. I think it would also be nice to have like a rug on the ground and then a wood floor maybe. I bet there will be a Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse in the render competition. Quite possibly. I think there was one in the last one, wasn't there? I seem to remember that being a thing. What else? Give me some suggestions, guys, of what I should put in the kids' room. I was thinking like some sort of hand-drawn posters on the wall and then some toys scattered on the floor. Let me know what sort of stuff would be there. like the classic sort of alphabet wooden blocks and things, and maybe some Lego. That would be good. Just trying to, I want it to be quite chaotic and just sort of have quite a lot of sort of visual noise in the background on the walls and stuff. Ooh, the sound is perfect now. Lovely, thank you. That's good to hear. There's a fine line between turning the input gain up on the preamp and then clipping the audio, but hopefully it'll be alright. It would be really cool to hear more about your story, because I also want to become a VFX artist, and I love to hear the way others become VFX artists. I'm actually going to make a video. I was going to do it for when I hit 50,000 subs, and then 50,000 kind of came and went really quickly, and I got about 4,000 subscribers this month after the Wolverine video, so I kind of missed the boat to make a 50,000 subscribers video. But I was going to do a video, kind of like a draw my life, but not drawing, just talking, because I can't draw, about how I got my job and how I started working in the VFX industry. I actually recorded it twice, and both times I went out and filmed it in a field near where I live, and it was out of focus when I came back. So the third time I was like, I just binned it off. I will make that video probably in the next month or so, and that will come out, and I'll just do like a talking to camera about my career and how I started, because it's quite interesting. I got in quite a non-traditional way by doing an apprenticeship. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled, and I'll do a video about it soon. I saw. Oh, actually, I've missed something. Welcome to VFX changing the same value 20 times to undo it and start again. Well, normally it's like 0.1 does 10% inset, but I think because the object scale is different in my scene, it wasn't behaving how I'm used to. I saw an article about how Animal Logic made a procedural flare generator in Nuke for Lego Batman movie, since this has quite a push anamorphic look. Yeah, there's a technique that I use as well on a lot of stuff that is just like a template that I copy and paste into a lot of scripts, where you key the highlights and then pre-molt it, and then do loads of blurs and glint nodes to kind of stretch them out sideways, and then you can just apply that onto everything, and you sort of tweak the keyer to just get the real highlights of the shot. And it will just put some nice kind of anamorphic-y flares on all the real pings in the shot. And it looks really nice, so that's a good trick. Interested in working in the UK, is there an area of VFX that are more in demand, that have more demand than supply? If not, do things like design skills or drawing skills matter? Is there an area of VFX that have more demand? I suppose compositing is probably the most in demand, because you need compos on every job, so like 2D, but obviously there's a lot of CG work going on at the moment as well in general, so pretty much any discipline. I think if you're something quite niche like a rigger or a matte painter, or I don't know, what's another 3D discipline that's quite niche? There is one, I'm trying to think. Rigging, what is it, the other one? It's escaped me, but there's a few things where you don't need them on every job, whereas if you're doing something like lighting and rendering or animation, you need those on every job, more or less. So I'd say that's it. If you want to get a job, go for something that's in high demand, like compositing or animation or lighting and rendering, or effects. Effects isn't quite as much, but still used quite a lot. Whereas if you go down a really niche path, it'll be harder to find the work. First thing, they pay less and treat employees like sugar. I'm going to censor myself there. I'm working as motion graphics artist and learning 3D. They make me work video, compositing, and edit. Also, sometimes sound design. Oh, I see. Are you talking about in India? Yeah, it depends on the company again. But yeah, I think India's not got a fantastic reputation, unfortunately. The one green alien teddy in the movie. Oh, that's a good idea, yeah. I made a pumpkin that looked like that once. Hang on, let me see if I can find the photo on my Instagram. This is a real tangent, but it was fantastic. I'm not, because I can't really draw, and I don't really consider myself an artist, despite the fact that my job title is literally has artist in it. But I made a pumpkin when I worked at a pub as a teenager, when I was about 17, or I made about 4 of them, and they turned out ridiculously good. I really hope I've still got the photo. I'm gonna have to scroll down quite far. Nearly there. Bear with me. Come on, please. Here we go. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. It's that one on this side. It's the alien from Toy Story. Now it's kind of out of focus. I don't think it's very visible, but it turned out great. I did like the ears, and it even had the thing on the top, like the antenna. I was very proud of that, as you can tell. Shall I quit? I'm a student. No, don't quit. It's an amazing industry, and it's only growing and growing as the years go by. Stick at it. If you're having a really hard time, I'd suggest looking at other companies, or even moving to a different country if you're really interested in pursuing it. London's fantastic. America's fantastic. Not the UK is fantastic, but specifically London. America has lots of work in New York and LA and quite a lot of states. Vancouver is very good. There's lots of places in the world apart from India, but there is a massive VFX industry in India, but like you say, the work conditions aren't always fantastic. Kids' room use crumpled up blanket and maybe some blocks. Yeah, I was thinking of doing that kind of thing. Put a table in the foreground or make the hero jump from table to land. Well, that's what he's already doing. So he's on a bed here, and then he's going down to the floor level. So there'll be some stuff on the floor, and then I'm going to have like a blanket on here. And I was thinking it'd be fun to have the blanket compress where his feet are, so he actually interacts with it. So I might do that with shape keys to sort of dip the vertices around his feet. Stay tuned, we'll get to that in a sec, once I get through all the comments. Will you have a super low depth of field? Yeah, pretty low, or shallow. I don't think it'll be like properly macro, because I'd like to be able to see a bit of what's going on in the background, but it will be a bit of a soft background. Grooming. Oh, yes, groom was the one I was thinking of, thank you. So stuff like that, there's a bit niche because you don't have like creature work and stuff on every job. So I've seen a few people at the moment that are like groomers on LinkedIn, that are sort of struggling for work, which is a shame. Hi Alfie, how do you feel about the VFX industry in the UK now? I've seen a lot of layoffs from various UK companies. It's alright, it's kind of coming back. Again, commercials and film are a bit different. The commercials industry was definitely hit by the writer's strike as well, but nowhere near as bad as film. Film is still, some companies are like still got pretty much no work. I've been very busy the whole way through the writer's strike and stuff. Coffee and TV where I work we've had no redundancies, it's been fine. In fact, we've actually been a bit too busy in some cases. We didn't have enough people to do the work, so we had to do a bit of overtime and stuff. But not that it was bad, it was just like a couple of evenings and things. The VFX industry is fine in the UK. I think it's in a pretty good state. Some places, like I know the Mill, some friends of mine have been going through redundancies and stuff lately, which is a shame, but that happens all the time, and for various reasons, and it's not always because of the industry. Sometimes it's just the company itself is going through a bad time, but there's lots of companies at the moment that are doing really well and thriving in the current economy, so it's not all doom and gloom. Try not to worry. So I am a film student, and can I have some interview on VFX industry? I can DM you on Instagram. I don't do calls and stuff, I'm afraid, unless if you want to join my Patreon tier for the VFX Mentor, you can. But I haven't got enough time to just chat to people in DMs, I'm afraid. Otherwise, I literally get about 5 messages a day in my Instagram inbox, and I just don't have the time anymore to go through them. I'm really sorry. Crayon-y picture of a spaceship taped to the wall. That's exactly what I was thinking, like a crayon hand-drawn thing sort of pinned to the drawers or something. I'm in Texas. Nearly all the work from here is in games. Yeah, I don't think Texas is quite as good. It's mainly LA and New York in America. But there's a few other states. I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but depends. Yeah, a lot of the major cities have pretty decent VFX footprints. You also have to split the frame up and do a bunch of different kernels. Sorry, I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Are you talking about anamorphic stuff? Let's do a bit of a model for the bed, because at the moment it's just a block. Maybe this could be the mattress. So I do like something like that. That's a mattress. Let's put a bit of a bevel on this bad boy. Apply scale. That's a mattress. And then how do I do a blanket? There we go. Perfect. And then I guess I want to do like a sort of solidify thing on this. Nope, that's not worked. Apply scale. Something like that. And then solidify. Boom. Subdivision. Oh, that's not done what I wanted at all. Apply. Then subdivision. No. Why is it doing that? It's weird. That's better. And then I think if I remesh this, I can do a bit of sculpting. What's the key? Is it R? Yeah, there we go. I always have to rewatch Grant's video about sculpting whenever I do any remeshing because I forget what the shortcuts are. And then is it Control R? There we go. Oh, maybe I need to apply this first. R, Control R, and then is that? There we go. Maybe a bit more actually. Maybe like that. And then let's use the cloth brush to do some magic. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. Getting some nice wrinkles. Probably don't want that much actually. I don't know how. The only thing is, yeah, it needs to be quite good resolution, so I don't want it to be mega wrinkled here. Maybe it needs another subdivision. That's not bad. Turn it off just for optimization purposes. I love the cloth brush. You can get such good results just by dragging the mouse around quite randomly. Maybe that's a bit too much. Go back. Cool. That looks like a blanket. I like it. Where are we? I'm just saying if I get the apprenticeship, I will not be working till 2 AM. I'll have no way to get home. Well, that was the thing. So for the first 11 months when I did mine, I didn't live in London, so I left more or less on time. Sometimes I worked till about 8, but they were pretty understanding that even if I left at 8, I wouldn't be home till about 10. So, yeah. And also, people are pretty good on juniors. Like, the times that I worked really late most of the time was just because I wanted to and I was really keen. It wasn't because they were forcing me. Well, they never forced me to stay behind and work late. A lot of the time they tell you to go home, especially when you're a junior, because the thing is you're not doing like the big comps or anything anyway, so the stuff that you're doing is a bit lower stakes for the first year or so, so it doesn't really matter as much. I just stayed behind because I wanted to learn as much as I could and they seemed to be keen. Hey, may I ask for how long you've been using Blender? Since about 2014, 2015, I think, just before I started college. And then I learned a lot of Blender while I was at college. And I studied games design, and then I kind of applied what I learned from games design to visual effects, which turned out to be a very good decision in hindsight. And I had the amazing opportunity to learn from Grant Abbott. He was my games design teacher. Before he went full-time on YouTube, he was just teaching games design at my college, which in hindsight now is very funny to think about because everyone knows him as Grant and he's like a big person in the Blender community. But yeah, he had like 2,000 subscribers the first year when I met him at college, and then when I went back to present an award to the students the year after I left, and he had 70,000. Then I went back the year after and he had about 300,000. And it's just, yeah, I'm very happy for him. He deserves all his success. He's a lovely guy. Does Coffee and TV do apprenticeships? Well, I think we're about to start getting involved in the big one in London that all the sort of big studios take on people. That might be a next year thing. And we're also currently doing a Pixel Pathway sort of internship scheme, which is running for 8 weeks. And I've been mentoring the people that have joined that. And we're in our last week this week. So actually they're with me tomorrow morning. And it's sort of 2 people in VFX, 2 people in production, and 2 people doing color grading. And that seems to be going really well. It's the first year we've done it, and I was quite heavily involved in designing the curriculum and stuff for it, and it's been quite interesting and nice to sort of have that kind of opportunity to be able to give to young people. Colosseum are plain over the mattress. I can't really be bothered. It doesn't need it. Like the cloth brush does a good enough job. You can see that's worked really well. I might tweak it a bit more, but for now that's fine. It's coffee and TV. Well, the way it's, I mean, the proper way it's written or typed out is literally coffee and then the at and sign and then TV. Lol MB. What does that mean? Motion blur? Let's try this foot thing. I've got an idea. So I might have to do a shape key for each foot, but what I was thinking is literally like, so let's do shape key step 1. And then literally do like this kind of thing. And then step 2 is here. And then we can animate it. So here it's on, and here it's not on. Maybe over 2 frames. Ooh, the foot's slipping a bit there. What's happened? That's better. And then I might sort of half animate them back afterwards. So like, let's go down to 0.5. Yeah, that's quite nice. I didn't want it to be like a really rigid surface that he's running on, so I think that's quite effective. Oh, this foot's doing it as well. It's my shoddy animation work that I did at 8 AM this morning. That's better. I feel like that step could do with being a bit more like that. That's better. Little tweaks. Do you think AI's impact on the film industry is as significant as the media portrays? In some senses, like, unfortunately, matte painters and concept artists pretty much overnight became almost redundant, which is a real shame. They still have a place, but it's so easy to just sort of generate stuff with Midjourney now that a lot of their work has literally sort of dried up. But even when you can sort of, you know, with these, what's it called, Sora or something, where you can generate full sort of moving images that are very convincing, there's still not a huge amount of flexibility. So that might be like a very good starting point, but then when the client says, cool, but can we rotate the camera 30 degrees to the left, you can't do that kind of thing with AI. So at the moment, the sort of iterative capabilities of it are very, very limited, which means that VFX will always be still a very valid part of the process. I'm sure at some point it's going to become pretty convincing, but at the moment the way I see it is like I use a lot of sort of copycat tools and things in Nuke at work to do a lot of stuff like matte generation and things for Roto, and it's more just, instead of replacing artists, the VFX artists are just the ones that are using it. You know, it still needs people to press the buttons, and ultimately it still needs a lot of work afterwards, like compositing and stuff, to bed it all together. So it's just a timed what's it called, turn of the time changing. It's the same when we switched from film to video and everyone was like, God, computers are going to replace all the artists. That's not the case. The artists just learn to use the computers. I think you just have to sort of evolve with the industry and sort of keep on your toes, because things do change all the time. It's just about keeping up with them. This foot's doing it as well. Make sure that's working. It's a bit more like this. So that's correct. And then cool. Not too many more of these to go. I think this will be nice though, it gives it some nice interaction. Because so many of these submissions that people make are just sort of running along hard surfaces and doesn't really interact with the environment, so I think this will be quite a nice touch. And then this one, all the feet are sliding. What I did is I put a lot more time into the landing and not much time into this bit, because I was sort of copying the animation from this, from the supplied animation file. So this one needs a bit of work, or just these first few frames. So it's there, and then it's there, and then it's there, and then it's there, and then that's okay. Which one's this? Oh, that's that one. Step 5. Do dynamic paint for the footprints. I thought about it, but I always forget exactly how to use it, and I thought this would be easier to control and take less time to do, because I actually know what I'm doing with this, rather than trying to figure it out live. We're almost there. There we go. That's those done. Let's see if that was actually worth it. Can't really see it. Maybe I'll sculpt the blanket to be a bit less in the way so it's more obvious. Kind of works. I think when it's rendered and not grayscale, it'll be more obvious. This is the first time I see 3D. This is the first time I see professional does 3D animation work in real time. I mainly work on video editing. I think it's worth saying I'm not a professional animator at all. In fact, I'm pretty bad at it. I get a bit better at it every time I do it. And I think this is probably decent. Like the run cycle actually looks quite good. And I animated this all from scratch. But I do not claim to be a professional animator at all. But I guess it is professional techniques. Like I'm using a nice IK rig and stuff, and the thing is with animation, like, because I've been working in VFX for long enough, I just know what looks good. Like, you don't have to be an animator to know like how legs work and about like momentum and weight and stuff. So if you know that kind of stuff even without being an animator, once you know how to like move the rig and stuff, it's quite easy to, well, not easy, but I can sort of pass as an animator. It kind of, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I don't do any of this professionally. I'm a compositor professionally. What do you think about animation being more stylized and moving away from more physically based Pixar look? It definitely has a place. Two different styles, really. It's like saying, what do you think of paintings versus drawing with a pencil? You know, they both have uses, and it just depends which one you want to go for, which one fits the thing that you're trying to do most. I personally really like the sort of Pixar physically based kind of, where everything has a bit of momentum and flexibility and kind of flops around like the toys and stuff in Toy Story. I think it's really cool. In your Spider-Man video, I loved how you did the cloth movement with sculpting and noise modifiers, if I'm correct. Yeah, it was a displacement modifier, and I used a vertex group to kind of define where it was by just painting with weight painting. I could have done it as a cloth sim. It's pretty much the same level of difficulty, but I thought it would be a bit easier to control the speed with the displacement modifier, whereas the cloth sim, you kind of kick it off and then wait and see what it does, and then change the stiffness of the cloth and things, and sometimes it can take a bit of going back and forth, whereas using the displace modifier, I just set 2 keyframes on the empty and then got it working how I wanted, and then that was it. So I thought it would be a bit simpler, which it probably was. I'm back. I was setting up a print on the 3D printer. Very nice. Hi Alfie, how are you doing? I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Welcome to the stream. I haven't actually checked how many people are watching. Oh, we've had 30 currently people watching. 220 views in total. That's pretty good for people just tuning in on a random Sunday. I think we're getting there now. The mattress is floating. We definitely need to make the actual bed. What's the best way to do this? Maybe like this. Although bed frames aren't, they're kind of like more the slats, aren't they? Maybe that's not the best way to do it. I'm trying to think. What if I do a mirror modifier, and then I do this, and then I also do this? Yes, that's what I wanted. So I can sort of scale these down and then make the bed posts. Gorgeous. Probably something like that, and then not that far away from the edge, maybe more like here. That looks alright. And then maybe another piece of wood that goes here. Are they going to merge together? It's not looking promising. What about now? Yeah, there we go. Oh, I've messed that up. That looks like a bed, right? Maybe move it down a bit so we just see the very edge of the mattress, because I quite like that detail. And I might also just use the grab brush and just pull this around a bit. Let's turn off the ceiling for now. Ooh. Better. I want it to look quite messy. Oh, hang on. Oh no, I've done that on the sculpt brush. Oh no, on the shape key even. Okay, let's do it on this one instead. I don't want to do it too much, otherwise it's going to actually mess up the shape keys that I just spent ages doing. So let's be a bit gentle. does that look? It's always good to sort of jump back into the camera view because ultimately that's all that really matters. I might just set the black edge thing on as well because it makes it a bit easier. Cool. Maybe a bit more this way. Inflate it a little bit. I'm just making this up as I go along. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe a tiny bit more exposure of the mattress here, just to get it to feel super messy. And the footprint's still in the right place. Yeah, close enough. That'll do. So here's where we're at now. It's already coming along. I think the bed's looking nice. It does actually need... It doesn't really need stuff under there actually. We don't see it. I'm not going to bother modelling the bed slats and things because they won't be seen. What have I missed? It'd be great to make an intro to Nuke for comp-based in your valuable experience. I've got quite a... Oh, sorry, I just punched the mic. I've done a whole playlist of videos sort of tackling the basics of Nuke. It's called Nuke for Noobs, and it's on my channel. There's about 6 or 7 videos in there, and it starts on literally like day one, going over like what are nodes and how they work and the like layout of the software, and then I tackle the stuff like super easy things like marker removal, roto, 3D tracking, a bit of sort of projection cleanup. There's a couple of videos on working on slightly more advanced CG compositing. I did a video quite recently this year about screen comps. I'm kind of adding to it over time whenever I think of new topics. But yeah, that should be quite a good place to start. I think some of them are, I mean, there's some really useful info in there already, and they're a good thing for beginners to have a look at. Do you have any or many proprietary tools at your VFX house, or do you mainly use publicly available things such as Nukepedia? Yeah, well, pretty much everything's from Nukepedia, because all the stuff on there is predominantly made by professionals that share the stuff that they make. So there's loads of stuff like Exponential Glow has been at every VFX studio I've ever seen. What else? I mean, the color edge. There's now like an edge extend in Nuke, which kind of does the same thing. But for a long time, everyone at the mill was using color edge, and I still use it just because I'm old school and I prefer it. But yeah, there's loads of tools, like all the kind of like Python scripts and things that make work-life balances, or not work-life balances, like working, like not having to spend too much time on things. There's a really good Python script that sort of parents animation to another object. If you're taking like an empty from a 3D scene that someone publishes from Maya, you can sort of pin stuff to it very easily, which is a bit more difficult in Nuke. You'd have to sort of copy the expressions over without having the tool for it. So yeah, we use all sorts of stuff from online. We have loads of proprietary tools as well, especially all the pipeline stuff like publishing assets and things is all built in-house. But yeah, we have a lot of downloaded stuff as well that's very good. Any tips when starting in Nuke? Any priorities? Just look. The thing about learning Nuke or learning any VFX software that I always tell people is learning the software is the easiest bit. Like, there's a bit of a learning curve, especially with Nuke. I think it took me probably like 3 to 6 months to get really proficient at it, and even now I'm still learning all the time. You never stop learning. But having a good eye and like learning what looks good and what doesn't look good, and how to sort of comp stuff together is way more important. And if you master that, that's like the trickiest thing really. So I would say get feedback from professionals if you can. Look at lots of reference and work out what's different between what you've done in Nuke and the real world, especially stuff like compositing depth and haze into sort of big environments. People go nuts and go way too heavy-handed on the depth and stuff. Like, for example, in the Spider-Man video where I showed at the bottom of the Nuke script where I had like chromatic aberration and stuff, since then I've seen about 3 people that have posted stuff in the Discord server that have sort of done very similar shots and sort of almost recreated the video, but they go way too heavy-handed on like the chromatic aberration and defocusing the edge to the point where it looks like some sort of macro scene. And the thing is, like, you can know all of those things and know about applying them, but unless you have the eye to sort of know how subtly to add them in and what is too much and when you've pushed it too far, it always looks a bit amateur. So that's the main thing I would say is just like prioritize getting a good eye and learning what looks good and what doesn't. And like I say, getting feedback from professionals is a really good way to do that, because they see things that you don't see, and then it's through getting that feedback that over time you start to sort of look at things the way they look at it. And when I was learning and I was in a VFX studio, that was the most invaluable thing, was having professionals sat next to me, like the leads on the job or other 2D artists, that I could be like, hey, what do you think of this? And they would give me feedback. It's so immediate, and you learn so quickly from doing it that way that's the best thing. But other than that, I mean, really, it's just like learn all the basics, like marker removals. Don't spend too much time on roto. That's probably a bit of a waste of time, because it's pretty much all outsourced these days, or people using like machine learning and stuff to do it. Get good at the stuff that matters, like basic comp work, CG comping especially, doing sort of 2.5D projections and cleanup and things. That's the stuff that I do pretty much every day and is incredibly invaluable to be able to do. I'm actually curious about the game industry. Can you share any info about the game industry? I've never worked in the game industry, so I can give you absolutely no info about that, I'm afraid. There's overlaps between that and visual effects, but they're not the same, and I can't speak for that industry because I've never worked in it. I'm teaching Nuke, and for me, all is about mindset. When you understand how to think, everybody else is just knowing the nodes. Yeah, exactly. It's your eye is by far the most important thing as a compositor, because you can learn all the technical stuff very quickly. And like I was saying earlier, I've worked with artists that are like, it's like they've swallowed the Nuke manual. Like they know every function, every button, and every tool, but they can't comp very well. Like they're not actually good artists. And so being extremely technically proficient in the software isn't everything. And like I don't know any Python or anything. I don't make my own tools. Well, I know a tiny bit, but not enough to be particularly useful. I don't like do any like programming or anything. I just make pretty pictures, and so far it's worked out pretty well for me. That really is the most important thing. Since you did a video about bokeh, are you going to make a video about profiling other lens effects like flares or chromatic aberration? You don't really profile those, you just put them into the shot. And it's kind of like a mixing and match thing. When I do flares, usually my go-to is either using real flares, so like filmed elements, or and we have loads of those in our work library of like 2D assets, or what's it called? Optical flares by Video Copilot in Nuke is fantastic for remaking flares and attaching them to sort of empties and stuff, so you get flares coming off of actual geometry. Outside of that, and like chromatic aberration, I don't think there's any point sort of profiling that. You just kind of dial in the settings till it looks good, basically. But what I would say is flares and chromatic aberration and like depth haze and everything, less is more pretty much all the time. Like it's so easy to overdo it, and it makes it look really amateur. Subtlety is the thing. Like I always turn it up too high and then turn it back a bit just to sort of dial it in. And really just like having like 5% or whatever is what looks the most realistic. Maybe not even 5%, that's probably too high. It's just barely there. You don't even really notice it. You don't want to notice it. You just want it to be there. And again, look at reference, like zoom in on the corners of real photos and stuff and look at how much is there, and look at how it affects highlights versus shadows, because you get a lot more chromatic aberration on like dark objects against highlights, for example, compared to just like midtones and things in the shot. It's all about studying the real world and how light interacts and things, and then trying to like replicate that on your CG or whatever you're compositing in. That is the real trick. And it takes a long time. Like, like I was saying, learning and getting a good eye, it's not something you can do overnight. I'm still learning, and I mean everyone's still learning, but I don't think I'll ever stop. It's just takes a lot of time, and you always pick up new things from new artists, and everyone's on their journey. Great info. Oh, great. Thanks for the info. You're very welcome. What is the most crucial element in compositing? Probably what I was said about subtlety, like not over-egging it. with flares and chromatic aberration and depth of field and stuff. It's so easy to make stuff look amateur by just layering way too much up. A lot of the time, very, very little is the way to go. And yeah, I think looking at reference and being able to work out what's different between the reference and what you've done is probably the most valuable skill. And kind of almost like dissecting a real photo and saying, right, what works about this and what's missing from my comp or whatever. Gotta love when people throw anamorphic flares on spherically shot footage. Yeah, I mean, that's a difficult one because technically, obviously, it's not correct, but sometimes it just looks good, and most people don't know the difference anyway. It just looks nice. But yeah, technically, you shouldn't you shouldn't put anamorphic flares on non-anamorphic lenses. Right, I've still made very little progress with this render so far. What else should we do? I was thinking of having like a rug or something on the floor. Not sure how well that will work, but maybe like when he lands here, like an oval rug. Let's do like a plane and then mirror modifier away. I might just grab a drink actually because my water bottle is empty and I've been talking a lot. Give me 2 seconds, I'll be back. Oh, I didn't realise how hot it was in this room until I stepped out, but I've got the lights on and stuff in here, like my video lights, and it's very warm. Jamie, I've got a dip. Have fun with the rest of the stream. Thank you very much, dude. Thanks for stopping in. See you soon. How long have we been going? What time is it? 4:15. Okay, we'll go for a bit longer. We've got time. How big should this rug be? I think if I do like this. Then it will be symmetrical. Mirror. Clipping X and Y. There we go. And then bevel. Yes. Lovely. And then proportional editing to make it a bit more the right shape. It's quite nice. A bit bigger. Slightly off center to add some chaos. And then solidify that in the other direction. And then maybe a bevel modifier. Is that going to work? Yes, lovely. Apply scale. 2. Shade smooth. There we go. That's a rug. Textures pending. And then maybe a subdivision surface. Is that going to crash? No, it's alright. I think that's pretty nice. The only thing is it's now his feet are going through it. Maybe I'll just lower the floor a tiny bit. To like there. Yeah, that's alright. Let's just drop this down as well. Perfect. Oh, I'll tell you what else I could do with skirting boards. don't know what kind of shape they are. Let me look at mine. Alright, so there's a little bit of a kind of an inset here, and then they go back a bit at the top. Like that. Actually. And then extrude. Gorgeous. Bevel. Tiny bevel. Is that the right sort of size? Trying to gauge. I think it might be a bit bigger. Maybe this comes down a bit. Not that far. That looks alright. Let's move it around. 90. Is that facing the correct way? Let's see. Oh. There we go. Oh god, what's going on with the camera? Cool. And then I think that's the wrong way around. Jeez. It is scale X minus 1. Nope. Scale Y minus 1. Yeah. There we go. The room has some skirting boards. They feel a bit small still. I might just scale them up slightly. That looks better. We're getting somewhere. It's starting to look a bit like a room. Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. Missed the very beginning of this. Do you have a box all around the scene, or is it a side open to the camera? There is a side open to the camera, and currently the way I've lit it, there's a HDRI giving it some fill light, but eventually I will take out the HDRI and just have practicals and stuff and this light coming in through the window. But yeah, it's super noisy at the moment. Wall, ceiling. But yeah, the back side is open. Depends. I don't know whether to do it with like light portals and stuff. It kind of depends how noisy it is when I try and render it, what I will do in terms of closing it off. But yeah, at the moment, there is an open face. Shout out for the Nuke for Noobs series. I learned so much. Oh, thank you very much. That's kind. That's why I made it. It's basically the videos that I wished someone had made when I was learning Nuke, especially coming from After Effects. I kind of wanted someone to be like, this is the button in After Effects and this is the tool that exists in Nuke to do the same thing. So that was my gift back, was trying to sort of translate my After Effects knowledge to Nuke for people that didn't know Nuke. And it seems to have been pretty popular so far, which I'm very happy for. Do you use or know someone who uses Nuke for motion graphics? I actually had used Fusion for motion graphics work for a while. It's not really made for motion graphics to the point where I've tried to do some motion graphic stuff in my YouTube videos in it, and it's a bit painful. It's a fantastic compositor, but you have to know the limits of the software you're using, and Nuke definitely isn't geared towards lots of like fiddling around with keyframes and stuff. It's a bit clunky, so in that sense, like Fusion or After Effects is the way to go. It's all about using the right software for the right thing. Bro, which style are you aiming for? Is it like a style present in movie or like Spider-Verse style? It's kind of, I'm going to try and make it look like Pixar films like Toy Story and Monsters Inc. and stuff. So that kind of like really nice sort of shallow depth of field, quite interesting lighting, quite colourful and saturated. And like I was saying at the beginning, I don't know if you caught it, but I spent quite a lot of time on the model of Buzz. Hang on, this bloody sunlight's super strong. Where is the light? There we go, sun. So it's not mega visible. Maybe if I turn up the HDRI a bit. But I spent a bit of time this morning and yesterday working on putting like fingerprints and smudges and stuff on the texture of the plastic, just so it's not perfectly shiny. Probably won't be super visible in motion and with motion blur and stuff, but it's just got a bit of sort of grubbiness and things on there. If I open the shader editor, most of the textures have a bit of sort of grunge on them, and there's a bit of fingerprints, and then that's combined into this shader. And then I've also got this one for the decals, which is like this bit and there, and that's just being combined with a transparent shader, and then it all comes together and looks nice. It needs a little bit of work. I haven't finished the shaders. It was just sort of getting them into a rough place, but that's the plan, is to give everything a bit of that sort of tangible detail. Not gonna lie, it's funny seeing After Effects tutorials with a gazillion pre-comps while you can add the same thing with nodes way easier. Yeah, that's why you wouldn't want to do like a massive comp in After Effects, because it doesn't really have that scalability. Once you start getting into sort of pre-comps and nesting sequences and stuff, it's just horrendous. Whereas node graphs are much better for that kind of thing, because it's all laid out. Oh, and I really wonder if After Effects is actually heavy used in professional studios. Oh, do you mean heavily used? It is for motion graphics, but not for compositing. Would be so cool for you to cover as much as you can on stream. Yeah, I'll probably not stream this again, just because I need to sort of get stuck into the details and stuff and finish this off today and tomorrow. But I mean, you can kind of see it coming together. And then I'm also going to do a video. I've been recording, like screen recording, the whole time I've been working on it yesterday and stuff as well. So I'll be doing a video sort of breaking down like I normally do, where I sort of talk about the materials and the animation and lighting and rendering and compositing and stuff. So there will be a video about the whole process. Don't worry if you haven't got time to watch the whole stream, or if I skip bits in the stream that I do off camera. I mean, the bare bones are there now, really. All it needs is kind of like populating it with lamps and toys and some sort of, like, I think plug sockets on the wall is a good idea. And like we were saying earlier, like pictures and things, maybe like a guitar in the corner. Just needs loads of assets to sort of pad it out now, really. And then some love with the compositing. I wonder if I can get like a lamp to whack on that table. Free lamp 3D model. Here we go. Oh, $2. God damn it. I could model it, it's not really worth it. This is kind of what I wanted. That might be quite nice. Download. Okay. Lamp. Then we can put that in there and then save 10 minutes modeling that and texturing it. Is that done? Yeah. Extract. What is it? OBJ? Okay. Import OBJ. Lamp. Is it massive? Yeah. There we go. Perfect. I think that'll be a nice practical light. So, has it got the textures already on it? Ooh. It's like weirdly transparent. Blinn. Oh, it's like a, I think that's a Maya material. Lamp, and then does it have, oh god, has it got image textures? Yeah. Don't know what that is. Color, what's G? It's got normal. Let's just see what it does. Oh, hang on. Control Shift T. Assets, 3D models, lamp. Let's try all of these. Yeah. God damn it. Why is it not working? Let's just try these two. Why? Is it because they're TGAs? Targa files? Don't know. That works. And then let's just do it one by one, I guess. I only really need the normal. So roll data and then normal. Oops. There we go. Normal. Perfect. And then can I just turn this into a light bulb? Let's see. And then I feel like making this sort of semi-transparent might be quite a good idea. I don't want to do that. Lamp, and let's do lamp shade, assign, and do transmission, assign. That worked? Not really. Subsurface. Oh, I did it to the bulb as well. Assign. Ooh, that's kind of nice. I don't think it wants to be subsurface though. That looks like skin. Let's turn that off and do transmission. There we go. That's what I wanted. Just get a bit of that glow coming through. And let's whack this up to like 200. Oh, it's gorgeous. And then if I turn the XGRI back down to like 0.2, got this nice practical light. I think I want to maybe like turn up the roughness. Yeah, that's what I was after. Oh, that looks really good. I'm very happy with that. What else could it do with? Maybe like a cable coming down the back. Ugh. Oh, lots of messages. What if he jumps and swings around the lamp to launch himself forward? I've already done the animation. I don't want to tweak it. I think it's quite nice how he just kind of glides down like this. Compositing is my favourite work in 3D so far, and I also want for this to be my this as my feature. Do you mean future? So would you say it's better to learn Nuke because I use After Effects at the moment? Yes. If you want to do it properly at a VFX studio, everyone uses Nuke pretty much. Some people use Flame, but it's a bit older, whereas Nuke is like the big one for CG jobs, or in general. Till how long would the stream be going? I'm going to have dinner. I'll probably finish in about half an hour. I think we're kind of wrapping up and my voice is starting to go from talking too much. But yeah, I'm enjoying it at the moment, so I'll keep going for a bit. And then when it gets to a point where I'm kind of running out of energy or stuff to do, just call it a day. But you can watch it. The whole video will be live on my channel, so if you want to watch it back, you can do that anyway. That's kind of cool. And then it'd be nice to have like a plug socket up here. Should have named some of this stuff as well. I just realised. Lamp. Let's put that in environment. Lamp cable. What's this? Window frame. Rug. Blanket. Drawers. And what's this? The bed? No, skirting boards. There we go. Everything's in the right place now. I find comping CG can be quite fun since you can spit out cameras and crypto mats instead of having to do lots of tracking and roto. Yeah, that is nice. Not having that 2D element of it can be quite refreshing sometimes. But I will say that sometimes when you're doing a CG job and the crypto mats all change after you spent weeks selecting them all and stuff. Sorry, I'm just putting some lip balm on. That can be quite painful because you have to reselect all of them. You can also add the Pixar ball, the famous Easter egg in every single one of their shows. Is that a thing? I didn't even know what it was. Let me Google it. Pixar ball. Oh yeah, I've seen this before. Okay, that's a really good shout. Let me make a list of this actually. I got a notepad lying around. No, I'll just do this off screen and use my Google Notes. New note. So kinetic brush. So green alien, Pixar ball, crayon drawing, probably some books, maybe a pen, Guitar. I'm just making a list of stuff to add into the scene. Toys, generally. That'll do. And if I think of anything else, we can add it in. Sorry for my English. That's all right. But is it hard to learn Nuke if you've got some knowledge in After Effects before? It is a bit. Like, I came from After Effects and then learned Nuke when I started working at VFX Studio, and the initial learning curve was quite steep, and I struggled. No, I wouldn't say I struggled, but it definitely wasn't easy for the first few months. But eventually, it just starts to click and you get the hang of it, like most things. And then I've never looked back. And now I'm very grateful. Like, I would never want to go back to After Effects for pretty much anything except for motion graphics. Nuke is definitely the way to go. Plug end. I don't know, what does a plug look like? I'm trying to think of the shape. It's kind of like, let's just mirror this. Oops. Mirror. Clipping on. Let me Google it. Plug UK. Just looking at some references. Alright, so it's like this, then it gets wider, quite far down, and then it sort of narrows again at the top. It's probably a bit too squished. That looks alright. And then we just give it a bit of a bevel. It's a bit too round. That's better. Oops. Never really know why the bevel modifier doesn't always go more than that. Does anyone know? It seems to sort of stop after a while. I guess I could just do this. Ooh. Oh, is that why? It's got too much. Yeah, it's too much geo. I figured it out. Can I undo that far? Yes, thank you. Let's do this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And maybe that. And that. It's not liking the clipping, is it? Is it because there's a face in here? Yeah. There we go. Fixed it. Lovely. Is it worth doing this detail? Let's see. Inset. Extrude. Scale. Plug. And then they're also kind of fatter at the bottom, I think. I'm just making this up. It's kind of like that. That works. Oh yeah, best plug I've ever seen. Cool. Ooh, lots of messages again. Working nodes is kind of like working with 2 layers, at least 2 layers at a time, and combining all the AOVs. Or combining all the 2s. Sorry, I'm not really sure what you mean there. Work in nodes is kind of like working with 2 layers at a time and combining all the 2s. Yeah, sorry, you've lost me. Harris Studio, love your Spider-Man video. Thank you very much, that's really kind. It's one of my favourite videos I've made, certainly recently. What time of day are you going for this render? It's going to be kind of like mid-afternoon, so the sun's going to be quite high in the sky. I think I've turned the sun off, but if I turn it back on, bang! And if I turn the ceiling back on, it's going to be like this sort of thing. And then also there's going to be some nice volume rays coming through here, but it's very noisy at the moment. But that is the plan. It's kind of like a, yeah, mid-afternoon vibe. So it'll be sunny outside. Maybe sort of early evening, just so that you get some sort of nice moodiness. But yeah, I have yet to really do any of the lighting. I'm mostly just still adding to the model at the moment of the scene. I think it's getting there though, it's looking pretty cool. This needs a couple of extra bits on it. Cube. It's not quite symmetrical. That's going to bother me. Oh, I could be really fancy and actually do this. Yeah, flip it around the 3D cursor. Boom. Okay, I think that's looking nice. I just need to make some holes here for the one that's not plugged in. Sounds cool. Because if I want to be a compositor, I think it's better to learn Nuke and get good with that than After Effects. I think this year I start moving from After Effects to Nuke. Yeah, if you want to do it professionally, certainly at a big studio, you won't really be able to get a job as a compositor if you use After Effects. It will have to be Nuke. If you do like it, if you want to be a generalist and work in sort of motion graphics or like a design department, they use After Effects and Cinema 4D and stuff. But proper compositing, ooh, that's hanging off, is all pretty much done in Nuke at every studio because it's the best. What about a game board on the ground? Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, let me add that. What did you say? Or a helicopter pad, or that looks kind of like a helicopter pad. Yeah, not sure about a helicopter pad, maybe, but I like the idea of a game board. I'll add that to the list. Thank you. Try applying the scale to the object. Is that probably why it won't go any further? Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was because I had too much geo on it, so there were too many faces, so it couldn't bevel beyond like the edge here. We got there eventually. But yeah, thanks for the suggestion. What is a good way to do these cutouts, I wonder? I wonder if even like a sort of knife project might do it. What if I do like a plane and then where's it gone? There. I haven't used the knife project in ages, but if I remember correctly, it's kind of like, actually let's do it on here so that I know where they are. How does it work? No. Oh, what was that message? No other objects with this wire or boundary edges for the... Oh god. Is it like this? Knife. Nope. Has to be in edit mode. Oh, you know what? I could just cheat it and make these black. Maybe that's easier for now. This is why I miss ball tools. If anyone knows how to install it, let me know, because I checked the add-ons and it wasn't there. And I miss it. Oh, well, I could just do like the old school way of what ball tools is, which is using a boolean, of course. Maybe I'll apply this. I shouldn't need it. Boolean, and then object this, and then union intersect. Is that right? I want it to be the other way around though. You have to do it with this. God, it's been so long since I had to do this manually. Is it like this? Intersect. Apply? Surely not. No, that's not it, because it's not affecting that object. It must be on this. And then this. And then maybe I apply that, and then does that? Yeah, that was what I wanted. Okay. And then do that inwards, but oh god, that's really messed up my bevel modifier. Maybe. Okay, here's the plan. We apply the bevel, then we do the boolean. Oh, wrong object. Come on, we're on the home stretch. This is it. So it's that, and then it's that, and then auto smooth should fix that. Yeah, and then just turn this up until it smooths out that edge. 45, 44. Yeah, I should have given it more bevel. Oh well, it's a tiny object in the background, it's fine. That'll do. Yeah, looks alright. Make sure to have the socket the lamp is plugged in switched on too. Yeah, good shout. Good shout. What's the best way to do this? Can I flip it? Kind of. Kind of. For background stuff like that, there's not much point having geo a lot of the time, in my opinion, just to project a photo onto it, and it'll probably look more realistic. I wouldn't say more realistic, but yeah, you're right, it doesn't really need the detail. But because this isn't a very heavy scene, I can get away with modeling it because I don't need to be really conservative about how many polys and stuff there are in my scene. But yeah, fair point. We're getting somewhere. I think this is looking really cool. It's not really playing back in real time anymore, but oh, actually, let's do a viewport render just to see it. Kinetic rush. Oh, I've frozen. And renders viewport. Open EXR. Bang. Viewport render animation. Oh, they shifted add-ons to extensions. Search for in the option right below add-ons and preferences. I think that's what I did. Let me try it again. So there's get extensions, but oh wait, allow online access checking for. Bool tool. Bingo. Thank you. That's what I was after. Install. So now, is it here? Yes. We're back. We're in the money. Thank you very much. That's what I was after. Please don't do it manually, lol. Oh, yeah. That would have been difficult. Bool tool is found in the Get Extensions tab or Preferences, whatever Brenda is called. Oh yeah, same thing. Thank you, some random guy. That's literally your username, and also Mike Evans. Much appreciated. What is Houdini typically used for? Houdini is a 3D software, so it's the same as Blender and Maya, but it specializes in sort of procedural modeling with nodes and stuff. Oh, what's happened here? I've like completely frozen. Oh, it's the viewport render. Let's open that up actually and have a look. So yeah, it's very good for kind of large scale simulations, and oh, that's looking really cool. So that's what it's mostly used for. It's pretty good. So like affects stuff like smoke and fire and particles and water simulations and all sorts. It's very, very clever. Oh man, this is looking cool. We're getting somewhere. Let's just set that back to the frame bin, otherwise it's going to overwrite all my renders. I just got Bool tool right now in 4.2 add-on. Strange. Yeah, we got there eventually. We got it working. I think I might think about wrapping up actually now, guys. It's been a couple of hours and my throat's getting a bit sore from talking. And I think I haven't made a great deal of progress. We've blocked some stuff out, but I think I've been doing so much reading the chat that I haven't really actually got around to making much headway on finishing the scene. So I'll do this off camera, but I'll record it and I'll post a video about it in the next week, and then you can see all the beautiful behind the scenes and everything of it. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a fun stream actually. I'm glad there's been no internet issues and stuff like last time. Haven't been plagued with any technical difficulties. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I will catch you very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.